Hey guys, well, listen, with everything going on, we've decided to open up the box, Pandora's box, so to speak. We expose our people to a lot of great tools, a lot of great people that are doing amazing things even right now. So we decided, hey, listen, as leaders, what should we be doing to help other leaders make sure that they have the right tools in their toolbox? And so we are opening that up so that you can have a glimpse of what we get exposed to on a pretty regular basis. I hope that you can take some great things away. I hope that you can implement some great things because here's what I know about leaders. We love pouring into other people, but if we don't pour into ourselves first, it doesn't do a whole lot of good. So I hope you enjoy. I hope that you get some great things, and I hope you're able to retool your toolbox so that you can show up not only for yourself, but for those that you're leading.
Awesome to have everybody on the call today. Obviously, you guys remember yesterday's call with Katie. Some great takeaways. I don't know about you, but I had some fun conversations with the wife last night, and it was just a great reminder of what we should be doing. I love that she talked about having grace in your life. I love the circle about some things that you could really be doing in your life right now, because obviously we're all being challenged, and we're all being told that there's certain things we can't do. And so it was really nice to be able to really put into a format the things that we really should be doing to fill our cup. So super excited about today and what we're going to be able to offer you guys in when it comes to like real estate. Profit on purpose. Every one of us, our business plans got exploded about 3 weeks ago, and we've all had to make some adjustments, and we've tried to figure out what's the rest of this year going to look like. And listen, we all have mortgages, we all have car payments, we all have trips planned, we all have things in our lives that are not going to stop. So how do we continue to not only just survive in this new economy, but how do we learn to thrive in it? And so really excited about the three gentlemen that we've got on today's show. Just going to do a quick introduction, and then I'd like them to just talk a little bit more about their background. So first and foremost, we've got Justin Winson. He's up in Twin Falls, Idaho. Justin is going to be talking and sharing about sphere of influence. And right now in a market very similar to ours, you guys, Justin is absolutely crushing his real estate world right now, doing awesome. I was talking to Gary Shook, his managing director up there. And when I asked, hey, listen, do you have anybody up there that's doing sphere of influence, that's doing anything that we as collectively as a company do here down here that's doing good? And he's like, the first person who came to mind was Justin. So Justin, dude, I'm so glad to have you on the podcast today, the Zoom call today. Would you give us just a quick background of how long you've been in real estate, what the year looks like for you, and what you're anticipating the year to be?
Well, I'm Justin Winson down in Twin Falls, Idaho. I have been in real estate since 2000 with Coldwell Banker, probably about 3 years now. We've merged a few years ago from a private company that had it, and Gary merged with Todd, kind of joined our Twin Falls and Sun Valley offices together. Last year ended up being number 3 in the MLS of 600 realtors. Got beat by a farmer and a team of 8. So I ended up with 83 and a half transaction sides, probably about 15 million worth of real estate transaction goals. I do not mess around with commercial. I don't mess around with farms. I stay in my lane and stay with residential. Very much involved with being president of the Realtors Association. Coming off of that, I'm currently the president of the Builders Association. So I have a big spear in that area. So I stay very involved with my community. Major donor in the President's Circle for RPAC, that you're familiar with RPAC nationwide. Just wrote a check for 10 grand for that. So stay very involved with what I do with my industry and what I do here locally.
How many units did you sell last year?
I ended up with 83 and a half transaction sides.
83 last year. And then what have you done year to date?
Year to date, I think I was sitting this morning with Todd. I think I was sitting at 32.5. So I'm ahead of schedule. Our market right now, as an office as a whole, we were doing the numbers this morning. We're up in our market 67% on sales volume, 22% up on listing side, and 29% up on the close side. And I'm a little higher than that as an individual as well. But our market is still killing it as what we're going through. And I think one of the tools with Coldwell Banker is we were ready for this. We have tools in place. And as I go back through this, we have so many tools that we're allowed to do and be involved with. We'll hear from several guys today. It's like golfing. I heard you guys talking about golf this morning. It's just, you have 13 clubs in the bag, but you can only use one when you're 150 yards out. So you've got to stick with the club you like. I'm golfing. It's usually the club that I have that is the, 6-iron never gets used unless I'm throwing it down the fairway. But you've got to stick with those tools that work for you. And I'll explain a little later one of the tools that works for me.
That's awesome, buddy. Well, thanks so much for being on this call, man. I'm really excited to hear about what you're doing with your sphere of influence and how you're actually ahead of pace, especially with everything that's going on. So next gentleman that we got is Keenan Coit. Many of you guys, I've talked about him before. He was 30 under 30 for Coldwell Banker. If you guys pay attention to anything on social media, you've probably seen one of his many videos. Keenan is just absolutely crushing social ad engine. And this is a guy that was already doing amazing things when it came to video and YouTube, social media, and he switched and started to use social ad engine. I know he's going to talk about that, but Keenan, you want to give a little bit of a background? How many years you've been in the industry? Give them a little bit of your successes and what the year looks like right now.
Yeah, I got into real estate in, I think, about 2015 while I was in college at CSU in Fort Collins, Colorado. Moved back home to Grand Junction, got involved with Coldwell at that point, and been here ever since. And as Josh was saying, got the 30 under 30 award a few years ago, which was really awesome, and learned a lot from that. And just do a lot of stuff online with video, and social media is kind of my go-to, and social ad engine as well. Last year I closed 35 transactions, just under 10 million. And so far this year, closed about 4 million, with another million under contract right now. So I'm a little ahead of last year, trying to get about 1 million a month is kind of my goal for this year. So things are going well, and our market is staying hot, just like probably a lot of yours as well. Our inventory is pretty low, and we're pricing the properties right. They're going under contract really quickly. So definitely blessed to be at this great company. Kind of like what Justin said, we're really poised to make this happen, which is great.
Yeah, awesome, buddy. All right, and last but not least, Jimmy Kleager. I'll see if you guys met Katie yesterday. I met Jimmy a couple of years back. Actually met him at my first Spartan race. And FYI, never run your first Spartan race with a former Ranger. It's never a good idea. So Jimmy and I have become very close friends ever since. Jimmy and I run the Kingsman group that some of you guys know about. And he's just a great individual, great man, and crushing it in real estate. He got into it after, of course, he served in the military for many years, and he's going all in on Zoom. He's part of he's a part of a team, so he already had a really great base, but Zoom is a funnel that he's really picked into, and I'm really excited to see kind of what his vision for that is. So, Jimmy, you want to give a little more on yourself, maybe what you did last year, how many years you've been in it, and what this year looks like?
Yeah, so Jimmy Kleager with the Von Clark Kleager Group down here in beautiful Grand Junction, Colorado. I'm going on finishing up my third year in the industry. I retired from the Army about 3 years ago. My mother-in-law had been in the business for about 37 years, and then so she passed last year, unfortunately. But my business partner was her business partner, and so he's been in the business for 33 years. So I've got an old sage, a great mentor, and then I'm trying to bring the new spark, really focusing on social media, trying to get our get our name out there. So as we've just by way, last year we did 76 sides as a team. This year our goal is to do 90 sides as a team. Right now we've done 16 sides. We've got 6 under contract right now, and potentially for 3 more right now that I'm working pretty hot and heavy. So that's given us 25, close to halfway, and we're not even halfway through the year yet. I will tell you that this COVID-19 period, it's the busiest I have ever been, and where folks have been sitting back and kind of rolling over and pulling the sheets over their head. I've really taken the approach and said, screw it. You're going to give me a box. Now, how can I operate around the edges of that box? And it's producing. So I'm pretty excited about it. And so I've always kind of taken this approach that when other people are down and feeling sorry for themselves, that's where I'm going to go all in. And so far it's producing. So.
Yeah. And I want everybody to understand too, is that it's really easy for us to think, well, yeah, of course they're doing really good. Their market's different than ours. And, they've got, maybe they don't have as many restrictions as we do. You guys are all shelter in place, are you not?
Shelter in place, no showings.
Yeah.
And they just clarified that last week. We were kind of skirting around the edges of that. No showings, no photos, none of that. Now we're thinking it might free up come Monday.
Yeah.
But this whole week has been basically don't go anywhere. You are nothing other than closings and title and maybe some appraiser stuff is considered essential.
And Justin, you guys are shelter in place, same thing up there, right, in Twin Falls?
Not like that. No, we are shelter in place, but real estate agents deemed by the governor are essential. We are allowed to still operate.
Are you limited? Can you do showings though? And you can't do open houses.
Yes, we can. We cannot do open houses, but we can do showings. We can go into places. The state of Idaho has come out with 2 forms that are very good as addendums that we can do that talk about release. It's almost like going to something dangerous, like go-karts or axe, or you have to sign a waiver. But we are allowed to still go into homes. I mean, we still do a lot of virtual showings where we either get on Zoom, FaceTime, Duo. That we're seeing a lot of done that way. But we are still allowed to go out and show houses and do things. But open houses are a no-no.
Yeah, and so everybody, all you that are listening to this, is exactly what we're here, like in Casper and Buffalo, is that we can still we're still deemed able to go out and perform our duties, and we don't have the limitations that Grand Junction's having. But you're hearing from 3 individuals that are absolutely crushing their real estate world right now. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into this, but first, for everybody, I've got you all on mute. I know you're going to have questions, so make sure that you put those in the chat box on the side. And then James, we're going to have a portion of this where we actually will ask them those questions. So when you do have them, put them in the chat box. We'll make sure those get answered. And this is where you guys are able to participate in it. Hey, Justin, can you talk about your sphere of influence? Obviously, you built that. You've established that. We are huge proponents of sphere of influence. We love Brian Buffini about how that personal connection is. We really believe that's one of the staples that you should have as a funnel. When you had all of these restrictions put on you, you didn't just sit on the sideline. You just didn't cower away. What did you do, or what are you doing now more than you've ever done in order to make sure that you're staying in front of your base?
Well, one of my golf clubs I talked about earlier, like your pitching wedge or whatever you have to do, one of the staples I always did when I was still, busy as I could be, and it's actually a nice break of your day, is, a few years ago I was sitting like, how can I get better? I have all these clients, all these people I've dealt with that I really like to deal with, that I still like to call because you're always friends. But as soon as you close a deal, you're done, And I have a lot of new agents that always come to me like, well, you've always had that big giant sphere of influence. So what I've taken on board is when I was busy as can be, I did 3 phone calls a day, whether it was morning, noon, night, wherever it was. I wanted to make sure I reached out to 3 people that day, whether it was just to follow up, how their kids were, how the soccer was, how their house was. Well, it's kind of evolved since we've done that. And just Monday, I called a guy. I've sold a few houses for him. So Monday morning I called him like, hey, thanks for cleaning out your brother's house, because I knew he was in California. And so I just want to, say thank you. We got that sold in a couple of days and it closed within a week later. He goes, hey, by the way, did Rich call you? And I said, no, what's going on? He goes, well, I gave your name out because you're the guy to go to. So whether you're seasoned or you're brand new, I think you need to really reach out to where your spirit is, whether it's, past clients, new clients, ones you've talked to at an open house maybe, but other people to go out there and talk to. I don't have much hair, but the ones I have right now are growing out of control like everybody else. I'm looking for anyone any ideas, a bootleg hairdresser. She sells more houses for me than anywhere before. And you guys all get those postcards from your CB1 packages. You always get the ones that always come back, return to sender. I take them to her. I peel off the little back where the post office takes her and they sit right in front of her. I get more leads from that than anywhere else you ever want to go to. But my phone calls when I'm going out and doing this is I've ramped it up from 3 to 10. I'm still taking shelter in place when I don't have to go out, but when I'm here in the house, in the office, I am making phone calls every day, whether it's my board members on the realtors, my board members on for the builders or the realtors. But the one I did the other day was I was in a leadership academy for the state of Idaho. It was a very good leadership academy for their past, the future presidents. I reached out to all my regions, called up to Kelly up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is about 9 hours from here. She goes, hey, I've been wanting to reach out to you. I said, I've got someone moving down to the Twin Falls area to do a referral. So I've kind of opened it up. Everyone does the Facebook posts. Everyone does, the things out there, the little, thank you cards, whatever. I am a very personable, on the phone, talk to you type of person. I think that goes miles ahead. We were trying to say, what does that get me as far as like, can you put a number to tracking those? I don't think I can track them because they might come out 6-8 months later, but I'm constantly in communication with them. Also, the other thing where I get referrals from is, people always like when the title companies or the lenders come in and see them, they bring in those little nice chocolate baskets or the gift cards, or I reach out to those people as well, the appraisers, see what's going on in their neck of the woods. And, they meet people in their lives as well that say, hey, who are the active realtors out there in the market? Who really stands out? Don't wait for those guys to show up in your office with, great harvest bread. Reach out to them, see what they're doing, what you can help with the appraisers or the lenders. You're all in it together. And I really find that my making phone calls and getting to my spheres is such a huge deal, because you always talk about when did these things come out. And someone mentioned earlier, like, what are you doing right now? Or you're sitting around, you're feeling sorry for yourself, you got the sheets over your head. Everything we put into it right now is going to come out the other end of the pipe in about 90 days. So the much as you can shove in your pipe and we get past this and we start getting back to business as normal, you've got to have that spirit. You've got to get things rolling in there and get things coming. And make sure you're keeping up to your CRM. Everyone's got a CRM somewhere along the way. I heard on a Zoom call the other day, and I've actually used it with reaching out to people. It's like, hey, just seeing how you're doing. Oh, by the way, I don't have your email or phone number or maybe your birthday in here. Do you mind giving it to me while we're on the phone? So I have other collateral to go with them on the future. So I got that on a little Zoom call the other day. And we're on these Zoom calls and these Facebook Lives and all these things all the time. You can take one little nugget out of each one, grab a little thing from each one and take it and kind of implement it. Whether you take like 10 calls I'm doing, try one, and see what it does. I mean, it breaks up your day to talk about kids soccer or whatever you might be doing in your life. You're talking about, going and trying to keep up with on the course on the Spartan with somebody. Reach out to your Spartan friends. Reach out to your sphere. It doesn't have to be real estate related. Somehow it'll come back to you in fold, but stay with them.
Do you have a structure? I think one of the things that people get caught up on is, well, I don't even know what to talk about. Like, I don't know what I should say. I don't want to call, and I don't want to do I don't want to ask for business. Do you have a structure of when you make those phone calls, you have in your mind about what you're going to be talking about or asking?
I do because they're either people I've sold houses to or past clients, or maybe I have that Spartan relationship. I do shoot a lot of archery. I do hunt a lot. I have those hunting buddies. And so you really mix it in with that why do you have that connection with that person to begin with? And, just kind of ask them like, well, how's your work going? I kind of bleed in with that, how's your work going? And then they kind of go, well, how are you doing? And doing amazing, and so I kind of bleed it in while like making sure I connect with what we have in common now, and then just ask how they're doing at their work, because we're all affected in one way or the other. And then it always comes back how they're asking how my work is going. And I think that's the biggest thing, or the takeaway, where I can work with these people. And that's how I get that business from them, is they know that I'm a realtor.
Yeah. Well, and I got to imagine if you just got off a phone call with Todd, that you probably know your stats too. So when people talk to you like, how are you doing? You're not just talking about emotion. You're actually able to give them facts and data of what's really going on.
Yeah, and it's you kind of play it as you go. But as far as like scripts, I don't like scripts. I mean, I read them and I know what they are, but I don't act like I'm a machine or a robot. I want to make sure I'm personable with whoever I'm talking to.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I know just before I'm going to go over to Keenan, you're up next, brother. But the appraisal thing, I love that, because you don't really think about them, but you're right. They're in homes more times than us as agents, and they are constantly being asked, who are the active real estate agents? Who do you trust? Who would you recommend? And I will tell you, we've had a number of referrals from appraisers back when I was selling. We would always be competing against at least one or two other agents, but that's all you want to do, is be able to compete, so you can win the business. So I really like that. That's a good one. All right, Keenan. So dude, you were crushing it at social media. You were doing awesome with videos. That was a mainstay in your business and how you were becoming successful and really kind of getting a little bit of celebrity status as a 30 under 30, no doubt. Why did you go to social ad engine?
I went over to social ad engine because of the ease of use. Talking with Todd a lot, we're trying to just utilize our time the best we can. For myself to do as much business as I want to, I can't be creating all these ads myself, running through the back end of things. That wanted to do something that was easy, and this really, really was easy. With social ad engine, when it first came out, I ran a campaign and I was like, dang, these results are insane. I'm going to try it myself and see if I can redo these results or to even be better. So I ran my own campaigns a couple times and kind of based off what they did. And I wasn't coming to near the amount of leads that I was getting from social ad engine. So I kind of bought in from there, just knowing that, hey, this really does work. For some stats for you guys, I've ran about 10 campaigns on social ad engine, 500 leads that I've added to my database. I've only closed one buyer from it, but that one buyer referred me to her boss, who bought a $400,000 house, and then her and her husband had to sell their two houses. So there's two more deals. Then they referred me to their aunt. And that original buyer referred me to her mom, who sold and then bought as well. So that's kind of the name of the game with online leads is, look, we're not going to just be converting all of these leads by any means, but you're building up that database, you're building up that sphere to the point where you're adding all these separate funnels of clients that, as long as you do a good job and all of us know how to do a good job and communicate well, you're going to get so much business from it. So that's been cool. I looked at the stats today as well. I had about 50,000 impressions from those 10 campaigns, which is nuts.
How many?
Other than that, 50,000 impressions from 10 campaigns. Couple things that I think are important. Josh was telling me that you guys, have kind of gone through social ad engine and have a pretty good understanding of how it works. But I think the most important things with social ad engine is, one, brand awareness. You're getting these ads out there. You're getting tons of impressions. Two, database building, that you get all of these leads and you're throwing them into your CRM. It's so important to keep those touches up, whatever you have for your company twice a month or whatever your email campaigns are. And then three, obviously, we're trying to sell the property or convert the lead. So I think those are the three keys. A lot of times we look at online leads as, well, I didn't convert any of these leads right away, it's not worth it. But that's really not what this tool is for. They've brought in a lot of other tools too in the social ad engine, like home value, local market research, buyer lead gen, all these different ads now that you can run to help build that brand awareness. So I think that's the real important thing about it. It's easy to use. You're not going to be able to get as many leads on your own. If you try to do these campaigns, you're going to spend more time. It's just worth it to just do it.
Yeah. Are you doing the agent promotion through social ad engine yet?
Haven't tried it. No, it's pretty new. I want to say it's like a couple weeks old.
Yeah.
So I think maybe a good plan of attack for anybody with social ad engine is you get a new listing, do your new listing on social ad engine. So anytime you get that, but then maybe once or twice a month, do one of these other campaigns that they have that you can run just to keep building that awareness. Again, it's easy. It's a couple clicks, boom, you have this ad campaign going out, might as well do it.
Do you have any goals now that you have a little bit of research and you've actually seen some results in it? Do you have a goal of what you're expecting or wanting to get out of social ad engine for this year when it comes to production?
Not from a production side. I think I'm looking at it this year as I'm gonna test it out and see like a baseline of where we can go from here. So just like I said, maybe that plan of mine of every listing, and then once a month or twice a month do that, and then see what the results are. I haven't used it long enough where I can really just say, hey, here's what my production will be from it. But talk to me next year, and I'll give you some results.
Well, I mean, I lost track of how many referrals you got, by the way, from the one buyer. But you had one buyer, one referral, two referrals, and then another referral. I have like
6.
So you have 6 total.
6 deals from that one buyer, so 7 to go total with that buyer.
Okay, 7 from that total buyer. So, what was the total like? How many millions did you sell there? Like average sales price, roughly?
At least 2.5, probably.
2.5 million.
Yeah.
How much does a social ad engine cost you per property?
It's $129 per property, and they take about $29 of that, and that's for them to actually put it all together and do all the research and whatnot. So, for $1,000, right around there.
Yeah, when you're looking at ROI and you're like, all right, $2.5 million for real estate, right? And it's going to cost you $1,000. Like, I think it's a pretty dang good ROI, right?
Huge.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So love it, buddy. All right, Jimmy. So you're going in all in on a bucket. I mean, like you've got these other funnels. You've had a little bit of an established with the team, and then also, I just really quick, I just wanted to point out to everybody, Keenan, how big is your team?
Just myself, but I mean, with Coldwell, I tell people I have a team of like 10 with marketing and transaction coordination and all that.
Justin, how big is your team?
I have a partner, but I am by myself. So she does help me with a few things. So she's ranked right now, I think 27 out of 600 realtors. I think this will be her 3rd year. She finished last year, I think, at almost 50 transactions sites. So between the two of us, that's about 140 transactions sites in last year.
Yeah. So you had 2, and of course Keenan. Did your wife get a real estate license?
She was in the process of it, and then literally like a week before the test, she was like, I don't want to do this. And I was like, thank the Lord. Good. Yes, let's not work together. So she's not. So
we have a couple husband-wife teams, so I think they're absolutely grinning and smiling right now too. So they can totally relate. Jimmy, so you've got a partner, right? How big is your team?
Yeah, so we've got 3 agents on our team. I've got a business partner, and then we've got one other agent on our team, and then we have an assistant. And then, like Keenan says, tack on the 10 from Coldwell Banker Distinctive Properties. You can ideally say we got a team of 14, 15 folks out there. So, but right within the VCK group, it's 4 of us.
Yeah, awesome. So you're going in on this new funnel, right? This wasn't something that you had done before. Right. You've obviously had a little bit of business. Why did you choose this platform or Zoom? What was something about this where you're like, I'm going all in. I really feel like this is the funnel that I really believe we're going to get business from.
Yeah. So, just to take a step back and you hear Tom Ferry, if anything around them, he's, every other word is video out of his mouth. And, what we should be doing is video, video, video. So I said to myself, at the beginning of the year, I was going to do a video a day, and then kick it over to, we've got a marketing coordinator. She would do some, put an intro and an outro on it, and we kick it up on Facebook and hope that we get some hits on it and put it on YouTube, and it was working. It was getting up on our website. But as this COVID-19 started happening, it kind of became, okay, so I'm doing these videos, but I'm not really sure how, the traction that we're getting on these videos. So I said, why don't I just start doing a Facebook Live every day? And I said, I'm just going to do it. And I set a time. Actually, I set a time for 12. And Todd, I put a note out, and Todd was like, "Hey, I do my Ask Me Anything at 12." So I was like, "Crap, let me just shift it to 12:30." So I shifted it over to 12:30. And the idea is that folks are going to have their lunch hour. They're going to be up on their lunch hour. So if they can spend anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes with me during their lunch hour, watching me, give them some kind of value, that I thought that was going to, it would gain some traction and put my name out there. And hopefully, at some point in the future, they're going to look at me as a trusted agent. So it's all about putting yourself out there. It's all about being the trusted agent. And so as I was sitting here thinking about, okay, why Facebook Live? First of all, unlike a video, once you put it out on Facebook Live, yeah, you can delete it, but you're not going to. If you do a video and then you go and look at yourself on the video, you're going to delete yourself. You're not going to post it. So put yourself on Facebook Live. Just go out there. A lot of people, I have struggled with this question of, why do I not want to be out on, why do I not want to do video? But why is it so hard for people to do video? Well, they're so self-conscious. Well, think about this. I want to reframe this for everybody when it comes to video and putting yourself out there. People look at you every day. People talk to you every day. They see you every day. So you do a video, they just see you every day. You don't necessarily see yourself until you do a video and watch yourself on a video. I never watch myself. I never watch a video. If I do a video, if I do a Facebook Live, I don't watch myself, because I know I'm going to delete myself. So don't do it. Just put it out there. I'll be the first one to tell you that, and I tell everybody, I feel like I got a face for radio. But I had to get over that and say, screw it. This is how people see me. So let me put myself out there for, on the video. So I share that with you to reframe the way you approach doing video. Now let's shift gears back to, okay, why am I doing this every day? Yes, to put myself out there, to provide value. And as I have worked through the schedule, here's my schedule during the week. So Mondays, I want to bring a market update. And I'm not necessarily talking hard numbers, but I'm talking trends. I'm talking trends up, trends down, where things are at, what my feel of the marketplace is. And right now in Grand Junction, we can say that, it's very strong. We have, especially in certain price points. So, I'm becoming the trusted person out there. I go back 7 days so I can talk about the market over the last 7 days, in the hopes that people are going to start listening to this and going, hey, I know Jimmy's going to come on at 12:30. He's going to give us a market update. Tuesday, community interview. What that community interview looks like is constantly morphing. On Tuesday, I did my wife, and then principal. And we talked a lot about resilience, kids, virtual virtual education. And that's been my biggest video to date. We've had over 300 views. I think we're at 351 views as of today. So that's gotten some legs. Wednesday, I give a pro tip. Yesterday, I talked about the value of professional photography and Matterport videos. And then I showed an example. Oh, by the way, I happened to highlight one of my listings during that time. They didn't necessarily see me because I had it up and I was clicking through the Matterport videos and showing them the value of that. I got a call yesterday afternoon from a guy in DC going, "Hey, I love your content. I love what you're doing out there. That's such a great tip. I wish I would have known that when I was selling my house in Alaska and then selling my house here in DC, because that's incredible, just incredible content." So I was like, wow. I mean, it's going nationally. Thursdays, I'm shifting right now Thursdays to becoming a nonprofit. I'm taking a look at, what that nonprofit in town that, during this COVID-19. So I'm trying to find a food bank for next Thursday. This Thursday, I've got a lender coming on. Today, I've got a lender coming on, but next Thursday, I'm going to try to get a food bank so we can highlight a food bank. And then Friday is going to be, hey, here's something to do out over the weekend. And because I like to get out, we like to run. We like to get out on the trails. Josh has actually run some of the trails with me here in town. But let's highlight some things to folks that says, you know what? Yeah, we're COVID-19. Yeah, they say shelter in place, but they still say you can get out and do some exercise. So here are some places that you can get out some exercise. So if you look at those 5 days, there's only 2 of them that are real estate related. The rest are community focused, bringing value to the community. That's what we want to do. And us as real estate agents, we all like to talk. So if you don't think you have something to talk about, guess what? You're lying to yourself. Everybody has something to talk about. Find something that's important to you, whether it be, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's barbecuing, maybe it's gardening. You can find something. People are going to want to see that. 10 to 15 minutes, 30 minutes, that time will go by very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So, I got another call from somebody from New York. Same thing, content. Yeah. We've got content. So Facebook Live is nationally, internationally reaching. And that's my goal, is to be able to now start touching people that, all over.
Can you talk about, you're using a platform too to make sure that it's going out to multiple medias as well. I thought this was a really great hack, because we do have a lot of people that, Heidi's doing Zoom calls. It's awesome what she's doing with her content and building her base. We have Chad's crushing YouTube right now with his channel. And we have other people. I know that Johnson's are big time on social media. I think a lot of other people are trying to do that.
Right.
What's this platform that you're using to help get it all out at the same time?
Yeah. So this new platform that I stumbled on a couple of weeks ago is called StreamYard. And what StreamYard does is it allows you to broadcast live to multiple platforms all at one time. So right now, I'm broadcasting to my personal page and I'm broadcasting to our team page simultaneously. I'm rewickering my LinkedIn page, and I will now let it, and it'll stream to my my LinkedIn page. And then it'll also go to your YouTube Live if you've got a YouTube Live page. And I'm sure there's other links that you can get in there. So really, you pop up on this thing. You can bring people on. They can share screens. You can share your screens. It's got some banners on it. And then you can, simultaneously be broadcasting to all these different social media sites without having to, pop one or open up 3 or 4 of them all at one time.
Or just do like me and not able to open up any of them. So, thank you, technology. What does that cost you a month?
It was $150 for the year. There's a free version, and then I just went for the next step up. So I think it's $12 a month or something like that to be able to do that. So I went for the $150 a year plan and going for it. So
it's very reasonable right there.
Yeah.
All right. So we've already been on the call about a half an hour here. So I know you guys, your times are very precious. I really appreciate you guys being on the call. So we're going to get out of COVID. Like, we're going to actually have an after of this. Justin, what does the business look like for you that now that you've learned how you've been able to thrive through this right now? What are you going to take from what you've learned now to continue to propel you once we go back to whatever that new norm is for each of us?
Well, my new norm has kind of changed a little bit because I'm actually loving the home life as far as it's a little quieter. As I stay away from water cooler talk. I don't get caught up in other things that might drag away from my day. I actually just spent $20,000 to have my whole office redone coming up here in the next few weeks. As far as what our market's going to do, we're still actively doing stuff in the market. I think it's actually caused a little bit. We'll have a better year this year. I do feel like for Idaho, we get a lot of people coming in from California, and I think they're pretty congested for the conversation we're hearing from people. So when you're talking about that social media aspect of really reaching out there, and I do the social ad engine. I don't do as much Facebook Live, but I do, starting the tours. I am starting to get people that are noticing me. I spend $5,000 a month just on Zillow. So I do get those people that send things out to me that are coming from California. We got some Coloradoans coming in. They want to get out of the bigger markets. We're about 60,000 people here on the last census. So we have a great thing to offer here. And I think once we come out of this, we're going to see a big influx of people coming from out of the area. And I think we will have a booming year this year still because we're way up now. I think I don't think we'll get back to a normal life for a while. So I think there'd be a little, dipping our toes in the waters and move forward. But I think we're going to see people come in once they get released. And I do think our year this year will be amazing.
Well, you guys are home of Chobani yogurt, right?
We have Chobani yogurt here. It's the world's largest manufacturing plant. We don't get as much business off that as you think it would be. We have a college here. We do a lot of refugees, and so they're deemed as part-time through a temp service. So they don't really have that 2-year work history. So some of the executives and stuff we do. I just had one of the executives move next door to me out here by the Shoshone Falls. But ours is really ag based, with the dairies and stuff around here that, supply Chobani, supply all the dairy golds. We're very ag driven. So with the milk prices right now, it is a little scary, with, not being able to get everything out to the restaurants and stuff like that. We have a lot of cheese manufacturing plants and stuff that are here. So, I do think it's going to be just an amazing booming year. And I think we will see a lot of people that are buying. I mean, the thing that we have going for us that has not changed, we don't have bad lending practices like we did when I went through it 06, 07. What I'm seeing right now that's really going forward, it's going to be great, is the rates are low. I've got people that'll ask me all the time, like, hey, what are you going to do when interest rates get to 1% or 0%? So it's not going to happen. The one thing that will collapse our economy is if we go below 3%, because the housing market is still what's really holding us together. And you have to be the expert on that. You have to have the knowledge on that, what's coming through. And that's one of those phone calls when I'm talking to these lenders and these mortgage people, and finding out those details and listening to why they're not lowering the interest rates. U.S. Bank, have a conversation with them. Their purchases are lower than their refis because they can't keep up with the refi business. So you've got to know those things out there and be able to relay it to the consumer. And I think you're the expert on what you need to do. And make sure that you're the expert when you're talking to them about it. And make sure you follow up these data sheets, these talking points. Make sure you talk to people that know more than you do, because it'll be valuable to you.
Exactly. We got some time for some questions here. James, do we have anything that we need to make sure we get asked there?
Yeah. So Heidi had asked, what other social media schedulers are you using? The only one I'm familiar with is Buffer. You got anything on that, Jimmy?
So there's Buffer. There's a couple other ones out there. Frankly, we hire a social media coordinator that we pay $400 a month, and she just keeps content going, and she's an outdoor type person. So we focus her on putting non-real estate items on our page. The other piece that you can, if you haven't subscribed to KCM, Keeping Current Matters, highly recommend that. and you can have that set up to be an automatic post on your Facebook page or your team page, wherever you want it to go. So that's some daily content for anybody that automatically happens as well.
Yeah, and KCM, just real quick, you guys, KCM, we've got that, and that's going on to the CB Elite page, and then you can take that information and put it on your personal pages as well too. Keenan, what about you? Anything that you're using? Because I know you're a big social media guy that helps you, so you're maintaining all of this.
No, I need to be better about like the consistency of posts. I'm more of a big post, like here's this big video production, or here's this big Zoom call interview. So I definitely need work on that. So that information is very helpful for me. But I'd say for all of us that business-wise going into the future, Zoom and all of this internet and online stuff is here to stay. The consumer is getting very used to it and understanding it. We've all been kind of forced to learn these things, and which is awesome for our industry that I think we all just need to keep up doing this. Like what Jimmy's doing, he should keep doing this for the rest of his career and keep these videos going. Obviously, once things open back up, get around our sphere and do all that. But no, it's a great time for us that we have a really, really awesome opportunity.
Yep, fantastic. All right, Jimmy, what about you? When we get AC,
when we break free, yeah,
what's going to happen?
Yeah, so here's a couple things. All right, so I think we really need to be thinking about the message that's going to happen here in about a week or two. I agree with Justin. The market is going to explode here. I think we're going to have an explosion for probably about a month, and then things are going to level off a little bit because there's a whole lot of pent up demand right now. And as soon as folks are able to get out and see homes, I think that now is the time. They're going to be ready to go. So we've got to be ready to be busy there. As far as, let's call it, listings are concerned, my common theme is our inventory continues to be low, and there's a pent up demand there. So now's the time to get it on the market. So inventory is, or it's a supply and demand issue. And so when you talk to folks and say, listen, the supply's not there, the demand is, now's the time. Now's the time to take a look at, look, I've done this home. This is what I did for this home. This is the marketing that I did with this. This is what happened. We put this on the market and it 4 offers, and it went off the market within 24 hours. So what are those things that we're talking now? Because going into this, it was, hey folks, how you doing? Just want to make sure everybody's fine. You're taking care of people. I think that message is still good. It will still resonate. But I think we also need to be talking that says, hey, listen, there's a pent up demand out there. So if you have any ideas or thinking about selling, now's the time. So
yeah, good. James, any other questions that we need to get answered?
No, I think we're just going to have to send a marriage counselor over to Team Johnson's headquarters because they're disputing about how much it should pay to do the social media posting.
I'm watching that in the chat box a little bit. It's pretty funny. All right, so hey, I just want to wrap this up. A couple of things. One is, you guys, thank you so much. I know you guys are really busy, but this is, for us, I talk about this is like the meat on the bones for us, right? Coldwell Banker gives us the opportunity. They give us structure. They give us a lot of the things, but like you guys are the agents. Your successes are really the meat that helps us all understand, like, why are we in this business and how we can do this collectively, and why is it so important to be a part of a brand and a great brand, right? So I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day. Justin, these guys want to find you. Where do they find you? How do they search you out? What's the best avenue for them to watch you, see what you're doing?
Well, Facebook. I just had a Facebook request here not too long ago for someone on here, but I'm on Facebook, JustinWinson.com, or Justin Winson at Facebook. Justin Winson at Realtor.com is my email. But I'm all over out there. If you Google me, you will find me.
Okay, fantastic. Keenan, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, just add me as a personal friend on Facebook. I post more on my personal page than business page. So Keenan Coit.
Keenan Coit, yes, sir. All right, Jimmy.
You can find me on Facebook, Jimmy Kleager. My personal page, our team page is the VCK group, or and you can get phone numbers there. Feel free to give me a call.
Fantastic. Well, and here's what I know, you guys. They are definitely more than willing to talk to you, walk you through what they're doing on a more personal level. These are great leaders in our industry, great leaders within Coldwell Banker, and so I really encourage you guys to reach out to them, get to know them. You know, one of the great things about what we've been presented with Zoom and just with, of course, with COVID is that now we get to know people that we never would have ran into, or we might have seen them at Gen Blue, but we don't really know them personally. So when we have these big events that we're able to hold again as a big company, you're going to be able to recognize these guys, and I hope that you are able to have a conversation with them in person. So thanks again, you guys. I really appreciate it. Just a couple things on my end before we get off. Some takeaways that I had that I wrote down is I loved where Justin, you had said, hey, listen, you used to be 3 calls, now it's 10. So you tripled that down. I love that you took postcards that were return to sender, and you're giving them to your hairdresser. I think that's brilliant. And then, of course, the appraisal referrals. I think that's awesome as well, too. Keenan, 50,000 impressions. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what you'd have to do to pay for that if you were actually doing a paid advertisement through Facebook. That is awesome. I love that you're trying to get brand awareness, database building, and then the ease of use when it comes to doing social ad engine. Not to mention the $2.5 million of real estate that was actually sold by it as well too, as if that's a nice carrot on the top of that. So that was great. Jimmy, I love the fact that you got every day is a certain topic, right? Your market update, nonprofit, something for the weekend. I mean, that's brilliant. I think a lot of people get lost in, what should I be doing on a daily basis? And the fact that you actually have that structured is awesome. StreamYard, I'm looking that up. Tommy and I are going to be talking about it. So that's a great thing as well too, to get out to multiple venues. So thank you guys so much. We're going to continue to do this, you guys. I know that I'm seeing all the comments. I know this was valuable. I know that you guys really took some great notes, and you guys are really taking some great things away from it. Just a really quick update. And these guys are on the calls too. So everything that I'm saying to them, they know this. This week, we're not having, I thought we had Jason Pantana for Thursday and then Tom Perry for this Friday. It's actually next week. So I've been updated with that. So Jason Pantana is going to be next Thursday. That's at 12 o'clock. Tom Ferry is going to be at 11:30 on Friday. And then there's a gentleman, and I'll give you the information. I can't say his name correctly, so I honestly, I can't tell you what it is. But it's the gentleman. His name is, let me tell you, Nick Vachikik. He's the gentleman, if you guys have watched Ed Milet, no arms, no legs, tremendously inspirational guy. He's going to be on Wednesday. So you guys are going to have access, just like Justin and Keenan and Jimmy are going to have access to these great Zoom calls, these masterminds, and these panels. So appreciate you being on. Love you all. Thanks for showing up. You guys have an awesome day. Gentlemen, thank you. I really appreciate it. When I see you in person, I'll buy you a beer. I promise.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, guys. Have a great one.
Thank you.